Hey everybody, just thought I would come on and we could watch Mr. T together.
That are found in the Word of God. And that's why this movement becomes so very, very important. I remember very vividly the first meeting I had with Ralph in Jonesboro, Arkansas, that he described a few moments ago. I also vividly remember how young he looked.
Hi, Brian Plot.
And I now think about how disgusting it is that he still looks so very young. I know he had a birthday today, but I think he skipped the last 30.
Mike Huckabee on right now.
He truly is the Pat Boone of the Christian evangelical movement, without a doubt.
Together.
And I appreciate him very much for all that he does, all that he stands for, and the consistency of his leadership through the 32 plus years.
Carol Johnson, hi.
And I'm grateful to be able to stand on the same stage with him and with President Trump, with Richard Viguerie, who has been such a pioneer for the cause, and to be able to express to you, the foot soldiers of the fight, thank you. Don't give up.
Sissy K, hi.
Is not over, folks.
Hello.
It's just getting started.
Miss Mindersu,
thank you, and God bless.
Misha Carter, hi. Diane B. Hello. Thank you. Oh, brother. Love you, my friend. Oh, prayers always to you. Matt Chai.
Well, it's been an amazing weekend, and we've had every announced candidate here except one. And I am pleased to tell you that the 45th President of the United States is in the house.
I'm going to.
He is. This is. Hang on. Wait till he gets here. This is his 8th appearance at Road to. He is no stranger. He has been a nation from its beginning. And before he comes out, I want to direct you to a video that will show before he comes out on stage.
Right now, the Conference Board probability of recession over the next 12 months is 99%.
You know, the rapidly rising.
You can see it on the sign. Price go up.
I'm going to press slightly.
Which is like this. Show the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021.
We're ever going to unite Ukraine. I mean, Afghanistan.
Ukraine is now a nation at war.
A growing crisis at the southern border. Groups of hundreds waiting to cross.
Anybody wants to join?
God save the Queen, man.
We will have 10 million jobs. We will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world.
Donald Trump's focusing on American energy independence.
We're energy independent. We're energy independent. Within 6 months, we would have been energy dominant.
President Trump's pulling the U.S. out of
Since in '99, hello.
Imposing tough new sanctions on Iran.
The United States no longer makes empty threats.
Pro-life advocates have described President Donald Trump as the most pro-life president in U.S. history.
Every life brings love into this world. Every child brings joy to a family.
Neil M. Gorsuch, do solemnly swear.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
A federal judge ruled in favor of the administration.
Am I still breaking up?
In the nation's highest court, ruling to overturn Wade.
Yesterday, the court handed down a victory for the Constitution. After decades of division and conflict, we marked the dawn of the
The new embassy to Israel is open tonight in Jerusalem.
after being silenced by Facebook and Twitter from Donald Trump said he'll be launching his own social media platform.
It's doing far better than I ever thought it could do.
I'm still breaking up.
We will make America great again for all Americans, greater than ever before. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm still breaking up. I don't know what.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. And I'm proud to be here, where at least I know I'm free.
I'm just going to do that because I don't want to strike. So, it's still right out. Yeah, I'll unmute. Let's see if the music's done. Oh, it only breaks up when I say something. Will you be able to hear? Were you able to hear the music, Mr. T, before I muted it? Have a good night. Okay. I just won't talk, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. My friends. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's great to be back with so many proud American patriots who believe in God, family, and country. Thank you very much. This is a great group of people. And I want to thank a man of incredible commitment, vision, and devotion, Ralph Reed. Ralph, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. Very interesting day to have a birthday because a big decision came down 1 year ago today. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Let me also recognize Faith and Freedom Coalition Executive Director Tim Head. Tim, thank you very much. Tim, wherever you may be. Thank you. Great job. As well as Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey, thank you very much. He's gotten very much more conservative, I have to tell you. Carrie Lake. Alveda King. Alveda, wherever you may be. Alveda. Frank Pavone. Frank, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And congratulations as well to Richard Viguerie on receiving the Defender of Freedom Award, a big deal, and to Mike Huckabee, my friend, for a long time, long time, getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. I think he's better now than he was 20 years ago. You want to know this? I heard what he had to say, but he is not a good example of it. You're in great shape. Thanks, Mike, and thanks for being a friend. I also want to thank a great politician and a fantastic person running for governor of North Carolina. His endorsement yesterday was amazing. Right? From North Carolina. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. That was such an endorsement, it went viral. It was all over the world last night. I think he's going to do quite well. These young ladies followed me at 99. This is your 99th event, and they're from North Carolina, and they're incredible, and they're beautiful, and they happen to be rich, I think. But they're great, and he's going to do very well, Mark, I think, in North Carolina. Last but not least, let me say a very special thanks to all of you that are gathered here. The crowd is incredible, and even outside it's packed. So something's going on. We do have great poll numbers. You know, we just got some poll numbers, 77-23. That was good. That's against the Republicans and beating Biden by 11. You say, why only 11? How could he possibly do so well? But it's a real mess. Our country's in a horrible situation. Since 2016, Faith and Freedom Coalition volunteers have knocked on 17.8 million doors, reached over 30 million Christian voters in their homes. And last year alone, you reached another 30 million voters in their churches. Incredible job that Ralph and the group do. No group has fought harder in defense of the Judeo-Christian values that we all stand for and uphold, and no group will be more crucial to our magnificent victory on Election Day 2024. So important. That'll be the most important election we've ever had. I said it with 2016, but I say it with 2024. I think even more strongly going to be the most important election this country has ever had, because our country is going to hell. With your help, we're going to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we're going to take back our country, and we're going to make America great again. For 7 years, you and I have been fighting side by side to rescue our country from evil and from the sinister forces who hate it. I believe they hate it, and I believe they actually want to destroy it. Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives. As we gather today, our beloved nation is teetering on the edge of tyranny. I believe that, and you believe that. Our enemies are waging war on faith and freedom, on science and religion, on history and tradition, on law and democracy, on God Almighty himself. They are waging war. That's not a war they're going to win. The radicals are setting fire to our Constitution, abolishing free speech, attacking religious belief, erasing our borders, corrupting our elections, and we have corrupt elections, and trying to impose their blasphemous creed, woke communism on every American man, woman, and child. And that's what they're doing, and they're trying so hard. We've never had a situation like is going on right now in our country. But the people in this room will never let them do it. They'll never let them get away with it, and it's not going to happen. We will not waver in defense of our faith, our freedom, and our great American flag. They don't want the flag either. They don't want anything. They don't want anything that's good. And you wonder why and how did they ever get elected in the first place? It's sick. Together, we're warriors in a righteous crusade to stop the arsonists, the atheists, globalists, and the Marxists. And that's what they are. And we will restore our republic, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. The menacing specter of left-wing repression has been growing steadily for years and years. It's been growing, and we were stopping it very powerfully for 4 years, and now it's picked up at a level that nobody's ever seen before. First, they slandered Americans of faith as haters and bigots. Then they corrupted the media. They installed radical left judges to subvert our Constitution. They used the IRS to target conservatives. They spied on our campaign, and specifically, they spied on my campaign, and we caught them. They're terrible. Nobody would have thought. Could you imagine if it was the other way? Could you imagine if, let's say, I spied? Let's not use Biden. Let's use Obama. Let's say, Mike Huckabee, that you and I spied on Obama's campaign. Do you think it would have been fine? You know, this would be away for a long time, wouldn't we, huh? They tried to take down a presidency with hoaxes and witch hunts. They're still trying, but we wouldn't let them. And now Joe Biden has weaponized law enforcement to interfere in our elections, the greatest abuse of power that I've seen and that most of you have seen in the history of our country. It's a hoax. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of courage. I'm being indicted for you, and I believe the you is more than 200 million people that love our country. They're out there, and they love our country. This is a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time, which has been fully exposed in the Durham report, the IG report by Inspector General Horowitz did a great job on that report, and by great writers, journalists, and pundits all over the world. And its primary purpose is exactly that, election interference. They want to interfere with the upcoming election. They want to demean, insult, do whatever is necessary to interfere. And as you know, the fake news doesn't report on all of the things that you're reading about and hearing about. You're hearing about things that you can't believe, bigger than Watergate, bigger than anything we've ever seen. And if you look at the New York Times, or if you look at the Washington Post, or the mainstream media of any kind, ABC, NBC, CBS, not a word of it, not a word, not even a little bit. They want to interfere with the fair and free election to a point where Joe Biden is willing to arrest his opponent, who is leading him in the polls by a very, very large number. They lie, they cheat, and they steal. And this is how low they've fallen in an attempt to win the 2024 election. And we're not going to let that happen. We're not letting it happen. They rigged the presidential election 2020. We are not going to allow we are just not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. Not going to happen. Charging a former president who did a good job. We had a lot of people that were very happy. There's some people said it was the most consequential presidency. But charging a former president of the United States under the Espionage Act of 1917, that's like making nuclear weapons in your basement, isn't it? An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, is one of the most outrageous and vicious legal theories ever put forward in an American court of law. It's a disgrace. And the people they have doing it are disgraceful. And just look at their record. Disgraceful. The Espionage Act has been used to go after traitors and spies. It has nothing to do with a former president legally keeping his own documents. As a president, the law that applies to this case is not the Espionage Act, as the lawyers will tell you, and they like to tell you, and the press doesn't like to write about it, but the courts of law will see it, and they already know it. But the Presidential Records Act, which is not even mentioned in this ridiculous 44-page indictment of me. I didn't know about that. You know, when I graduated from the Wharton School of Finance, we didn't study being indicted, getting arrested, going to jail. We didn't know about that. They never taught us that. Under the Presidential Records Act, which is civil, not criminal, done in 1977, civil, I had every right to have these documents, personal belongings, in boxes. Joe Biden didn't. Even Mike Pence didn't have that right. They weren't covered by the Presidential Records Act. I was, because I was president, but they weren't. But these scoundrels and thugs, they only come after me. They didn't go after the many, many other presidents that
kept their documents. You know about it. Many, many others. If you look at the Bush family, if you look at even Jimmy Carter, and I say he's innocent. I say Jimmy Carter's innocent. But they went after me. They didn't go after anybody else. And they went after me criminally. And it's not a criminal violation. It's not even a violation under the Presidential Records Act. And what could be more accurate a statement than Presidential Records Act? That's what we're talking about. Not espionage. It's not espionage. The crucial legal precedent is laid out in the most important case ever on the subject, known as the Clinton socks case. You know what that means, socks? Let me give you a hint. It has something to do with socks and taking things out in your socks. After leaving the White House, Bill Clinton kept 79 audio tapes in his socks and his sock drawer. So he put them in his sock. I didn't. I put mine in boxes outside of the White House, and the GSA picked them up and delivered them where they were supposed to be delivered. But they included in the Clinton discussions and the Clinton tapes a discussion of U.S. military involvement in Haiti. He can't get away from Haiti, can he? Right? He's done very well with Haiti. Discussions of U.S. foreign policy, both defense and offense, against Cuba. And what about them allowing China to have military bases now in Cuba? I think you're not too happy about that, Mr. Senator. And he's not even saying anything about it. Recording of President Clinton's conversations with foreign leaders, sensitive facts about trade negotiations taken from presidential briefings. This is all in the tapes. Discussions with Secretary of State about conflict in Bosnia and much, much more. Not only was Bill Clinton never even considered for criminal prosecution based on the tapes he took, and these are tapes he took. These were serious tapes. But when he was sued, he won the case. He won it. Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term and in his sole discretion. Now, this is a Democrat-appointed judge, respected. Any normal administration, even an opposing one, would consider that to be the end. That's the end of the case. But not the corrupt Biden regime, because they're trying to win the election. And it's very hard to win an election when you're probably, definitely, I would say definitely, the worst president in the history of our country, without question. The Sox decision, they call it the Sox decision. Also, I quote, it says, the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, very radical left group, by the way. They have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights flagged for being dangerous documents. Did you know that? Does not have the authority to designate materials as presidential records. Now think of that. They don't have the authority. NARA does not have the tapes in question. NARA lacks any right, duty, or means to seize control of those tapes. The president enjoys unconstrained authority to make decisions regarding the disposal of documents. Only the president, not vice presidents, not senators. Biden has a lot of documents from his time as a senator. That's bad. And he has a lot of documents from his time as vice president. That's bad. He has 25 or so times the documents I have. He has so many documents. He doesn't know they're coming. They keep them on the floor of his garage where he has that really beautiful Corvette, he says. Neither the archivist nor Congress has the authority to veto the president's decision. The president can do whatever he wants with it. And this was a big deal, that act. And it was passed in Congress, 1977. The Presidential Records Act does not confer any mandatory or even discretionary authority on the archivist. They have no say whatsoever to classify records. Under statute, this responsibility is left solely to the President of the United States. So what the hell are we talking about with this phony case? Well, it is true. I mean, it is true, isn't it? In other words, whatever documents the president decides to take with him, he has the absolute right to take them. He has the absolute right to keep them, or he can give them back to NARA if he wants. He talks to them like we were doing, and he can do that if he wants. That's the law, and it couldn't be more clear. Even the New York Times, just to finish up with this hoax, this is the next hoax. We had Russia, Russia, Russia. We had so many. Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. Who the hell else could take this stuff? I had a nice life. I had a nice, easy life. But I'm taking it for you because we're going to make our country great again. We're going to put America first. We're doing it for you. But even the New York Times, in a major article, big article, and they must hate, probably the writer was fired after he said this. But it said headlines. It said that when it comes to asking for documents from former presidents, the only power that NARA has is to say, pretty please. Quote, asking nicely is about all they can do, and yet they reported me to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution. They don't even have the right to ask. And if they do ask, they have to be very nice, and I don't have to give it. And yet I'm being prosecuted for this. And this is the New York Times saying it. Nothing like this has ever happened before, and hopefully will never happen again. And we are working all together because we're working as a country. And, you know, I'm probably the only person in history in this country that's been indicted and my numbers went up. Thank you. So true. You see the numbers. We're blowing them all away. It's crazy. Usually when that happens, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving office immediately. I want to spend more time with my wife and family and fight for my innocence. With me, it's just like crazy. What a life I have. I have a crazy life. But you know what? We became president of the United States, and we together did something that nobody's, when you look at all of the things we did, probably nobody has ever done what we did, including rebuilding our military, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulatory cuts in history, all of the things that we did. We had no wars. We got out of wars. We beat ISIS. We defeated ISIS, 100% defeated ISIS. And got out of wars. And you would have never had Russia go into Ukraine. And you would have never had China. You would have never had China talking like they're talking right now about Taiwan. And you'd never have any words coming out of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, like what he's saying about the United States and our president. No, we had a much different time. They respected our country and they respected your president. They really did respect your president. Joe Biden is the most corrupt president in the history of our country by far. Just 2 days ago, a very respected IRS whistleblower, used to be very much, you remember when the Democrats used to love whistleblowers? They don't like the whistleblowers now. Revealed that Crooked Joe sat in a room while his son Hunter messaged a Chinese Communist Party official and said to this Chinese Party official, I quote, I am sitting here with my father and we would like to understand the commitment made has not been fulfilled. This is cash he's talking about. Yeah. Tell the director, and it doesn't get reported in the newspapers. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means right now. It means tonight. You believe this? I didn't know he was that tough. And if I get a call or a text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, my father, right next to me, Pop, hi Pop, and every person he knows, you will regret not following my direction. Now, can you imagine the newspapers not reporting this? Not a word of it in any of them, mainstream. I'm sitting here waiting for the call, he said, with my father. I'm sitting here with my father waiting for the call. In other words, send us money. Within 10 days, the Bidens got $5.1 million from China for absolutely no reason. They got $5.1 million. In fact, they've taken tens of millions of dollars from China. And that's probably why maybe he's not complaining about that. They're building military bases in Cuba. Maybe that's the reason, I guess. Mike, what do you think? It's not even believable. This stuff isn't even believable. The worst part of the whole story is that the press doesn't want to report it because, you know, there was a time like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you would have gotten a Pulitzer Prize. Of course, they've been totally discredited because they gave Pulitzer Prizes for the accurate and wonderful reporting on Russia, Russia, Russia. Then it turned out to be a hoax. I said, you have to withdraw the prizes. They said, well, we don't know that and we don't want to do that. We've never done that before. I said, that's okay. Do it or I'm suing you. They said, we're not going to do it. And I sued them. You know, we're in court over that. We want them to return the Pulitzer Prize. And by the way, they're being decimated in court. It's very interesting. But we actually brought a lawsuit against them because they gave Pulitzer Prizes to the New York Times and the Washington Post for their accurate reporting on Russia, Russia, Russia. And even the papers now say it was a hoax. They all say it was a hoax, but they don't want to give back the prizes. So they have to give back those prizes. They will. Joe Biden is a totally compromised president because they're bribing him. They're paying him off. They know all the money they've given, and it's far greater than anyone has been able to really understand. And I'll tell you what, Jim Jordan and Jamie Comer and their group has done an unbelievable job, but it's far greater than anybody knows. This is just some of the things. It's tens of millions of dollars, and that's just some of it that's been found. And again, the papers aren't reporting, and it's not only China, though. It's many other countries, including Ukraine. So we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. I keep saying, why isn't Europe paying a like amount? So we're in for 160 billion, and Europe is in for 15 billion. And nobody thinks that's right or fair, and it affects them more than it affects us. These countries know every penny the Biden crime family has taken in. The countries know. Ukraine knows. China knows. They all know. There are many countries. So he can't even or ever go against them. He can't go against them because they'll reveal the corruption because they know exactly. They'll say, well, we sent the check here. We sent the check there. We sent. So he has to be very nice to China, has to be very nice to Ukraine. And a huge success will be when the New York Times and the Washington Post and others put it on their front page, what's really happening here. Because this is truly 100 times bigger than Watergate. This is a much bigger story than Watergate. That's why Biden doesn't mind that China has opened up these military installations and in the process of building a tremendous amount in Cuba. It's only 90 miles off our coast. He's basically said it's okay. He's not doing anything. He's not even saying anything. He's not talking about it. What that means for our great Cuban population in Miami, I love the Cuban population. We got a record, I got a record number of votes. People were I got the Bay of Pigs Award. I was given the Bay of Pigs. It was a great honor. Award by the Cuban of Miami. But it means that this group of people in Miami that love Cuba, they want to get back there. They want to see their country, but it means for the rest of their lives, they will never see Cuba again. It's gone because China's occupying Cuba right now. That means it's gone. And they were getting ready to make a big, if the election wasn't rigged, the Cuban thing would have been taken care of and people could have gone back and forth to Cuba. Cubans, I'm talking about. They could have seen their family. They wouldn't have the problems that they have right now. He's given everything to Cuba and the dictator and dictators. And you know what that was, but it's incredible that this can be allowed to happen. So unless I get back in which case I will inform China that they have 48 hours to get any military and spy equipment out of Cuba. Or I will drop the hammer and there will be tariffs unlike anything that China's ever seen before. And you know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars of taxes and tariffs from China. No other president has taken in 10 cents, not 10 cents. Took in hundreds of billions, gave $28 billion to the farmers because they were mistreated by China. Who else does that? Who the hell else would do that? You tell me. They know. But he wants to do nothing because he can't. He's really bound to not do anything. Never forget, our enemies want to stop me because I'm the only one who can stop them. And I'm stopping them because of you. I didn't need this. I didn't need it. If these corrupt persecutions succeed, they will complete their takeover of this country and destroy your way of life forever. And that's where it's going. That's where it's going. It's a disgrace. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. And I just happen to be standing in their way. That's all it is. That's all it is. Ultimately, the radical left lunatics are coming after all of us because they know that our allegiance is not to them. Our allegiance is to our country and to our Creator. And that's why under Biden, Christians are being persecuted like nothing this nation has ever seen before. I don't understand how people can vote, people of faith. And I'm not just talking about Christians. I'm talking about people of faith can vote for these Democrats. They've become monsters. They're fighting you all the way on religion. You know, I watched Biden during debates when he could speak, and he was trying to say, you know, oh, I love being a Catholic. You know what they're doing to Catholics right now? There's never been an assault on Catholics, the likes of which they're having right now, what they're having to go through. Biden's corrupt DOJ has targeted parents at school board meetings. They've sent SWAT teams to arrest pro-life activists. You know that. The FBI has been caught labeling devout Catholics as domestic terrorists and sending undercover spies into Catholic churches, just as it was in the old Soviet Union days. Pretty rough stuff. Who can believe this? And how can you, as Christians, how can the people in this room vote for them? You know, they get 40%, 50%, 60% of a religious vote. How can they do that? And then they just go about trying to destroy religion. If you look at polls, you'll see religion, people of faith, but religion is going down in terms of importance and popularity. This is not a question of importance and popularity. This is a fact. We love God and we want to protect ourselves. We want to protect the cherished position of believing in God. And I think one of the biggest problems this country has right now is it, as religion does go in the wrong direction, because it's something for you to adhere to and to believe in. It's so good. It keeps you sane. It keeps you honest. It keeps you good. It keeps you kind. It makes you help other people. And they're trying to take that away from you. And I just don't understand, where do they get 30, 40, 50, 60% of the vote? It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. They lie. They lie about their positions. And you have to remember that. In 2024, you have to remember that. Protect your vote is the most important thing. But you have to remember that. And you do have to protect your vote. They want to destroy your religion, along with the fact that they obviously want to destroy your country. When you have open borders, when you have no voter ID, why do they not want voter ID? Because they want to cheat. Even the Democrats voted 82% in favor. Democrats, people that vote, Democrats voted 82% in favor of voter ID, but the politicians don't want it because they want to cheat. And with voter ID, it's very much harder to cheat. They're mean and they're very, very sick. They are mean and they are very sick. Over the next 16 months, our enemies will try harder than ever to divide us and to destroy us. The lies, abuse, and injustice that will come our way will be worse than ever before in the history of our country. To persevere, we must stand tall. We must stand strong. We have to be strong. We have to be stronger than ever before because they're coming at us. There's something wrong with these people. And I don't like saying that. You know, as president, you're the president of everyone. So I don't like saying that. But there is something wrong with these people. And we have to stand together or we're not going to have a country anymore. The more they throw at us, the more united we must become. The more vile the attacks, the more relentlessly they go after us. We must keep pushing forward no matter what. You just keep pushing forward. That's what I do. I get up. People say to me, sir, can I ask you a question? How the hell do you take it? I say, do I have a choice? I don't have a choice, right? Do I have a choice? I'd love not to have to, but they're crazy people with there. They're lunatics. I've had the most successful business people in the country come up to me, a man who's one of the most successful, a vicious guy, very tough guy. I don't like him even. He thinks I'm his friend. I'm not because he's a bad person. Unlike Governor Huckabee, he's a good person. He's actually tougher than this guy, but he's also a good person, the governor. But I tell you, he came up to me and he said, could I ask you one question? How do you get up in the morning? Every day they're coming at you with a different deal. I mean, it started with spying on your campaign. Then it went to the different impeachment hoaxes and indictments. And how do you do it? And I actually said to him, it's like it almost becomes a weapon of war. You have to fight these people and you have to beat them. We beat them now for 4 years and now afterwards. And by the way, if I weren't running right now, or if I was losing big in the polls instead of winning by the biggest numbers I've ever had, think of it, biggest numbers I've ever had, not even close, they would stop in 2 minutes. I believe, although maybe the hatred is so great. Actually, Lindsay and Mike, I think the hatred's so great they probably wouldn't stop. I think they would keep going, right? In my case. Normally they would stop, but in my case, I think they'd probably keep on going. But if I didn't run, or if I would say, you know, I'm not going to run, or if my numbers were bad, where it looked like I wasn't going to make it, they wouldn't be focusing on me. They would focus on whoever was leading, and they would go after that person, male or female, just as viciously as they go after me. And that person would not be able to handle it. That's why you have no choice but to vote for Donald Trump. Thank you very much. You. Thank you very much. Thank you. Isn't it great? Saturday night, we're here for religion. Is that nice? And what a job Ralph has done. But this isn't my campaign. This is our campaign. This has got to be our campaign. And with you we're going to see through this whole, we're going to see through it. We're going to take this job right to the finish, and we're going to have a country the likes of which we've never had before, better than ever. We're going to have it better than ever. No president has ever fought for Christians as hard as I have. And I will keep on fighting, and I'll fight hard until I'm back behind that desk in the Oval Office, the resolute one. Resolute one. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Hey, Ralph, I have to ask Ralph a question. Were your other candidates treated this way? I don't think so. Actually, I saw one who was booed off the stage. He was booed off. I don't think they were. But you know, the greatest honor is, in my case, you feel this way because we went through 4 great years. We did things that nobody thought could be done, and we're going to go into them in a minute, but we did things that nobody thought could be done. So when you do feel this way, I really feel good because that means you accepted and loved what we did in that 4 years. We did more than probably any, and many people say this, more than any president. We rebuilt our military. What we did is so incredible. We did it together. I did it because of you. I was helped by you, and we had your support, and it was amazing. So I'm very gratified to get that kind of support, because in my case, it's not just words. You know, when I first came in, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut taxes, and I'm going to cut regulations, and I'm going to do all these things. And, you know, people would say, yeah, okay, it's just words because it's a politician. All of a sudden, I become a politician. I never had that moniker before, but all of a sudden, I become a politician. But I did all the things, but I actually did much more than I ever promised I'd do. So it makes me feel very good. We totally transformed the federal judiciary, appointing nearly 300 judges, a record, to interpret the law and the Constitution as written. I withstood vicious attacks to confirm 3 great Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. And I just hope, because they're under tremendous assault and pressure. I mean, they are. Look, you know what? You see what's going on. In the sports world, they call it playing the ref. You know, they say horrible, horrible things. And some people, a lot of them change. And we can't let that happen. I just hope that these justices, who are brilliant and very good people, I hope they remain strong in the face of the harassment and intimidation that is coming their way and has come their way by the radical left lunatics. I just hope they can withstand it. I hope they don't go to the other side so they feel a little bit better about going out to dinner. That happens so often. With politicians, it happens, but it happens with judges. And we hope that's not going to happen with them or any of our judges. Exactly 1 year ago today, those justices were the pivotal votes in the Supreme Court's landmark decision ending the constitutional atrocity known as Roe v. Wade. Thank you. Conservatives had been trying for 50 years, exactly 50 years. Amazing that today is the day. I don't know. Did you set this up on purpose? Was that done purposely? This is the day, 1 year. I mean, today is the birthday of that decision. Did you do that? I mean, it wasn't just by a fluke, right? I assume you did. Whether you did or not, this is the birthday, so it was pretty good. And Ralph's birthday too. Something strange is going on here. You know what they'll say? It's Trump's fault. But I got it done, and nobody thought it was even a possibility. They've been fighting. Good people, strong people, smart people have been fighting for 50 years, and it never even came close to getting done. I don't believe they've ever even taken a vote. I mean, never even came close. It was something that wasn't going to happen. I got it done. I get a kick out of these candidates and even the other side. Well, I don't know. I think I'm more pro-life on this. And somebody stood up, a woman stood up and said, this guy ended Roe v. Wade. How the hell can you go against him? And I sort of said that myself, actually. But I'm proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Thank you. Thank you. From my first day in office, I took historic action to protect the unborn. Very historic. Nobody else did anything near what we did. And it put us in such a great position, that victory, we'll go into it, but that victory is a tremendous victory in so many different ways, because they are the radical people. When they're willing to kill a child after birth, they're willing, take it beyond the 9 months. They are the radical people. They are the people that are really in trouble with the Lord. I reinstated and expanded the Mexico City policy. You know what that is? That was a big deal. Nobody else did it. stopped funding for abortion providers. And at the United Nations, I made clear that global bureaucrats have no business attacking the sovereignty of nations that protect innocent life. And I did these things, and I took heat, and I also got great love. I mean, you have two sides to it, but I got great love. And I was the first sitting president ever to attend the March for Life rally right here in Washington, D.C. Under my leadership, we did more to uphold religious freedom than any administration in history by far. I could name some very good presidents that most of the people in this room would like, and they didn't attend the rally, and they didn't do the things we did, like the Mexico City policy. They didn't do anything, and yet most of the people in this room would like some of the people I would name. But we did it all. We fearlessly protected the conscience, rights of doctors, nurses, teachers, and faith groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor who were treated so badly. We came to their rescue. We stopped the Johnson Amendment from interfering with pastors' free speech under retaliation of terminating tax exemption. They really went after people in a room, and I said, why don't you speak up more? And had 50 pastors in the room, 2 rabbis, 50 pastors. We had a number of religious leaders, heavy on the pastors, I will say that. But they said to me, I said, I want to hear you. They said, we really can't speak because of the Johnson Amendment. This was in 2015, just before I announced. I said, that means that, explain it to me. If we speak out, and if the government wants to, they will take away our tax-exempt status. I said, so you have less power, and you're the people that I want to hear from. You have less power than we were in Trump Tower, 60 stories up, looking down. I said, than any people walking on that sidewalk outside. He said, yes, in many ways we do. We can speak up. And I got it so that the people that we want to hear can now speak up, so that Mike Huckabee spoke up anyway. I don't know. Did this have any? I don't think it had much impact on you. It had no impact on Mike. But it had a lot of impact on a lot of other people, and they have been speaking up, and it's important that they do so. I issued guidance making clear that the right to freedom of worship does not end at the door of a public school. Public schools are in tremendous trouble. And I was the first and only president to convene a meeting at the United Nations to end religious persecution worldwide. No other president has ever brought it up. As president, I stood proudly with our friend and ally, the state of Israel. I did more for Israel, they say, than any other president. I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, Jerusalem, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And I tell the story that sometimes, I don't know, it's maybe more of a good business story, but a general stood before me with something to sign, executive order, because I had won that battle. And it was a bill, essentially, for $2 billion to build an embassy in Jerusalem. And I said, General, what is this for? Sir, this is to build an embassy in Jerusalem. I said, this says $2 billion. How can you spend $2 billion on, like, I envisioned it as a one-story building, right? Nobody in this room, if you're in the real estate business, would spend quite that much. Maybe you'd spend like $2. But I said, how can you ask for $2 billion? Well, that's what they told. By the time you buy the land, sir, and you build the building and everything else, it's going to cost $2 billion. So I called up our ambassador and I said, David, see if there's something we have there already. We own a lot of land in Jerusalem. Do we have a great piece? And maybe it has like a little building on it. Fix it up real cheap and we can. See, I'll always be in the real estate business, you know. I'll always love that business, and I love that business. We did great at that. That's a great business, but very creative. And I said, see what you have. They called me back 2 days later and said, sir, we have a fantastic site. We've owned it for many, many years. You know, we were there sort of like early on first. We have a great site, and there's a building on it that's been essentially abandoned, but it's a very strong structure. And we think we could fix it up and get it open very quickly. I said, how does it compare with the site that we're going to buy, that they want to buy for a ridiculous amount of money? By the way, that particular person who owned that site is not happy with me, I can tell you. That is not a person. We're going to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for this site. So I said, what do you think of the building? Well, I think we could fix it up. So they called me back a week later. I sent some people over. They said, sir, we can build a new embassy for $400,000. I said, let me ask you a question. It's the only time I ever said this. I said, listen, it sounds too cheap. We got to make it more. No, it actually sounded, I never did that. Usually I'll say, make it 200,000. I said, we got to make it more. It doesn't sound right. But a friend of mine in a big building in Manhattan has beautiful white stone, beige and white stone opposite his elevator bank. And every time I go into that building, he says, now he says president, but he used to say, Donald, look at the stone. It's so beautiful. And after saying it to me like 12 times, I said, what is it? He said, it's Jerusalem stone. It's so beautiful, very, very expensive. He's a very rich guy. He talks about the cost of stone, right? That's why he's rich, I guess, right? When you think. But he said, it's so beautiful, and I'm so proud of it. Jerusalem stone. So now I'm sitting here talking about building something in Jerusalem, and we're going to do a renovation of an existing building. And I said, listen, can we wrap that building in Jerusalem stone? Is it expensive? He says, absolutely not. We're in Jerusalem. We can buy it for free. So the whole building is made out of Jerusalem stone. Isn't that good? Sort of good. Little business story. But I did something else. And we got it built. You know, that thing would have never been built, the $2 billion building. It would have been years and years and years. And you might not have, they probably would have ended the whole concept of even moving the embassy to Jerusalem. It would have. So we got it built. And there's no reason to do any better because it's really a beautiful embassy, one of our nicest embassies, I think. But someday they'll come along and say, let's waste billions of dollars and do it the way we originally planned. But it's a great embassy and was very proud to do it. But we did something else that they weren't even asking for. The most pro-Israel people weren't even asking. I recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And that has been going on. And that has been going on for 51 years. They've been trying to get that. People would fly in, fly out. They'd have meetings every 2 years. People would fly in, fly out. I brought some people that truly knew Israel and understand Israel. I said, explain Golan Heights to me. You have 5 minutes or less. And they did it in about 3 minutes. But they talked about the importance. They talked about the height, the visibility, the military protection, all of the different things. And I approved it. And nobody even asked for it because they thought that was too far-fetched. But I got Golan Heights approved for Israel. And nobody talks about that one, but that was a big one. And then the biggest of all, but this administration has totally blown it. I pulled out of the horrible, horrible, one-sided, miserable Iran nuclear deal, which was expiring just about now anyway. And they were ready, had the election gone the way it should have gone, they were ready to make any deal with me. And as you know, I said to China, you can't buy. If you buy, we're not going to do business with you. Okay, we won't buy. No oil from Iran. Nobody was buying oil. They were ready to make a deal. We would have made a great deal for everybody. They would have been terrific. We all would have. They were dying to make a deal. And then when that tragedy turned out, the world's most corrupt election, when that tragedy turned out, what happened is everybody started buying oil from Iran. And Iran now is very rich. And instead of having a great negotiating position, we have a terrible negotiating position. And they're actually trying to make a deal that was worse than the first one. The first one was horrible. The first one was a short-term deal. I mean, it wasn't like it was for 50 years or 100 years. It would be expiring just about now. So, and that was a license for them to make nuclear weapons. And you cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You cannot let it happen because bad things will happen if that happens. But I got that approved. That was the biggest of all. That was bigger than Jerusalem. That was bigger than the Golan Heights. I always considered that to be the biggest. But unfortunately, they took that deal and didn't do anything. Iran was they were dying to make a deal, and they didn't do anything with it. And then, of course, we did the Abraham Accords, which would have been, I mean, something incredible. Something incredible. So we took care of Israel like no president has ever. In fact, they said if I ran for prime minister of Israel, I'd get 99% of the votes. I'm thinking about doing that. We delivered the largest tax cuts and regulatory cuts on record in the history of our country. And we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. There's never been an economy like the economy we had. More jobs, more everything that we've ever had before. We achieved energy independence, and we're ready to be energy dominant. We were going to supply oil to all over Europe, everywhere. I was the one that brought up Nord Stream 2. You remember that. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2. I said to Germany, Angela Merkel, I said, you can't make that deal. If you make that deal, that means you're going to be subservient to Russia. She said, no, 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 Donald, this will be wonderful. It didn't turn out to be too good for them. Then gas prices, when I was in office, reached low numbers like $1.87 a gallon, and even less. Think of that. Now they go to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it hasn't stopped. Wait till you see what's going to be happening over the next 2 years. We created the most secure border in U.S. history, built nearly 500 miles of border wall, which was so helpful. Got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. I said, look, if you're not going to give them free, I'm going to have to tariff all of the cars that you're building. Because, you know, they took those car companies out of Detroit and other places, and they now build 32% of our cars that are built in Mexico. I said, I'm going to put tariffs on if you don't give us the soldiers. And they said, we would love to give you the soldiers. It would be... We had the Remain in Mexico. That's for all the people that are pouring in. And I believe the number is going to be, Lindsay, 15 million people by the end of this year. And they come mental institutions. They come out of jails. They come out of insane asylum, which is a stronger word. They said, don't use those words, sir. They're nasty. But insane asylums, very sick people. And and terrorists are being poured into our country like never before. And I also terminated the ridiculous catch and release. The ridiculous. You catch the people and you release them in our country, okay? Now with Biden, basically that's what they do. But we caught the people and we released them outside of our country. I fully rebuilt the U.S. military, created Space Force, and defeated ISIS and brought our troops back home. You remember during the campaign, do you remember when they said, oh, he's going to bring us into World War III. He's going to bring us in personality type. I said, no, my personality is going to keep you out of World War III. That's what happened. But all of that was only the beginning, and here's just some of the bold agenda that I'll immediately implement when we become the 47th President of the United States. And I'll work with the people here and a lot of other people in Washington right now, because I just rode through Washington and it doesn't look like it used to look with me. They have fences around their parks. They have tents up all over the place, tents. This is the capital. This is the most important thing. Think of this, the capital of our country. It's got papers all over the streets. The sidewalks are filthy dirty. I used to drive by and I'd be screaming over the phone, get the sidewalks clean, get this, get that. You got to get the tents down. You can't have the tents. You know, once those tents form, once you leave 4 or 5 of them, there was a group of 4 or 5, and I told Secret Service, you got to get over it. We got to take it down immediately, because once that happens, you have 10, then you have 20, then you have hundreds. And what's happened to this city since I've been gone is, oh, it's so sad. It's so dirty and filthy, and people are stopping coming. And that's true in a lot of other cities too. You look at Chicago, you look at San Francisco, look at New York, what's going on. All Democrat run, but it was so sad to see. You know, I look forward to coming here, but I was a trip between the airplane and here, because I'm looking at something that I don't even recognize. It's so dirty, and it shouldn't be that way. It's a great place, and it shouldn't be that way. When I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. Remember, we didn't know if there was a deep state. People would say, yeah, I don't know. Now about everybody thinks, yeah, there's a deep state. I call it a bad state. I'll fire the unelected bureaucrats who have weaponized our justice system. And they have weaponized. And we'll create the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying. They spy on so much. Censorship, corruption. including all of that on Christians. The Christians have been under siege under this administration. Just please remember that. Please remember that when they tell you about how much they love you. They don't love you at all. They don't love you at all. Never again will federal law enforcement be used to target religious believers. And hopefully never again will it be used to target opponents in an election, because that's what they're doing. Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. And when I'm back in the White House, I will once again appoint rock-solid conservative judges and the mold of justices like Antonin Scalia and the great Clarence Thomas, who really they are going after right now very unfairly. You read that, sir, very unfairly. And before Election Day 2024, I will again release the full list of names from which I will select my appointments to the United States Supreme Court. I did that last time, and it had a big impact. To stop the Marxist and they are indeed Marxists, or worse, fascist Marxist. Prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting conservatives and people of religion. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA in America, AG in America, for their illegal racist and reverse enforcement of the law. These are bad people. And they're being run by the DOJ, just in case you have any questions. You know, in New York, where they go after me, never had a problem. All of a sudden, I get a DA who's after me. Brag. But you know what they did? They put people from the DOJ into the DA's office. Can you believe it? I don't even think that's legal, they say. But I have DOJ prosecutors in there telling them how to go about it. But they haven't done a very good job because they have no case. To deter illegal immigration coming from jails and these mental institutions that I've told you about, all of the terrorists we're infiltrating, and they're infiltrating our country. Never before in the history of our country. I don't think any country in the world has gone through this. And I always say, even a third world country wouldn't allow people in like this. They would stand there with sticks and stones. They wouldn't allow it to happen. One thing, nobody's been able to tell me why this is a good thing. Why is it a good thing? It's not good politically. Now, they all say, oh, no, they'll go and they'll vote. Well, first of all, we're doing very well with Hispanics, and large numbers are Hispanics. But you know, even more so, they don't need people because they cheat so much on the voting. They don't need. But if you think of their policies, open borders, high taxes, high interest rates, no voter ID, bad military, woke military, all these things, you can't win on policy unless you cheat. Just think about it. How can you win on any of those things? Does anybody really, I don't care, give me the most liberal person. Does anybody who's liberal or anything else want people to march and steam into our country and just come into our country? We have no checks, no balances. We have no idea who they are. And they do. They come from prisons and mental institutions, many of them. The mental institutions and the prisons in countries all over the world, the United States of America right now. Now, how the hell is that good politics? I don't understand it. And yet they get votes. They get votes. Somebody someday will explain it, or maybe people just don't know. That's why I say it as many times as I can, because nobody can want that to happen. I've already announced that I will sign on day one an executive order ending automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. You have to do that. We're the only country in the world that does it. If you literally set a foot in the sand across the border, your child is called welcome to being an American citizen. It's so unfair to our country. In addition, here are some of the other actions I'll take to restore the border of the United States and to make it safe again. We had the most successful and strongest border in American history. And to get it back, I will immediately reinstate all of the incredibly successful border policies of the Trump administration, including our Safe Third agreements, which you know what that means. Remain in Mexico, that's pretty obvious what that means. Our asylum bans, we didn't let a lot of bad people in. We will complete even more border wall. We built the border wall, and then we were going to add another 200 miles. And that's when I knew they actually wanted, because in 3 weeks they could have had it completed. And they not only didn't complete it, they took the gates, the fences, and the walls, and they moved it to other parts of the country so that nobody could get to it. And I said, you know, they must really want to have openers, because we added in certain areas, it's a little like water coming through, right? And you have certain areas that you learn when the wall is up. So we were closing up those areas, would have been just incredible. And they didn't want that to happen. They actually took it. Texas wanted to buy it from the federal government. They said, we don't sell it. We wouldn't sell it to you under any circumstances. So that's when I realized for the first time that they were actually serious, that they want totally open borders, which is absolutely insane. And we're going to restore the prosecution policy, which saw a record number of prosecutions of illegal aliens who had to leave the country. We had to get them out. Sometimes they were so evil, so bad, that would put them in prisons in our own country because they have a tendency to come back. But they weren't able to come back because we had a very strong border. Drugs now are, think of this number. We did very well on drugs, not well enough, by the way. Nobody does well enough until they're gone, because I believe we're going to lose 350,000 people this year and destroy families all over our country. It's like an invasion. But drugs now are 12 times higher than they were just 2.5, 3 years ago, 12 times higher. They're pouring in. Fentanyl is pouring in. President Xi and I had a deal. He was going to make it criminal to make fentanyl in China. There'd be no more fentanyl coming from China. When I didn't win the election, meaning I won it, but when it was rigged, when the election took place, he said, well, I don't have to go by that deal anymore. He didn't want that deal. But it's made much of it in China, and it flows through the border. We want people to come into our country, but we want them to come into our country legally. We want people to come in. We want them to come in legally. And furthermore, I'll fully implement Title 42 across the entire southern border based on all of the diseases that illegal aliens are bringing in. It's unbelievable that even the judge in the case said, do you know what you're doing? Because the Biden administration wanted it terminated. And the judge wouldn't do it, but it terminated itself. Judge can't do anything about that. Judge said, you know what you're doing by asking for this? And we will have to do rapid deportation of all of these border crossers. But we have people that are very seriously ill with contagious diseases, and they're pouring into our country along with all of the rest. We have no idea who these people are. Nobody cares. Nobody cares on the other side. They can just come in. A friend of mine called. He said, how do I go about becoming a citizen? Do I take classes? I say, well, don't say I said it. But if you happen to walk down to the border, just walk across and you'll be fine. You know, it takes some people 10, 12 years. They go take tests. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And they love the country so much, and yet others just walk across the border. I'll also use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries immediately. Horrible. Horrible. And I'll shift massive portions of the existing federal law enforcement apparatus to immigration enforcement, including parts of the DEA, ATF, FBI, and Homeland Security investigators. We're going to move them around. I will issue a policy directive making clear that a core national defense mission is to protect sovereignty, and therefore we must use any and all resources necessary to stop this incredible invasion. It's an invasion, including moving thousands of troops currently stationed overseas and elsewhere to our own southern border. Following the Eisenhower model, I don't know if you know this, but Eisenhower was very strong on the border. We will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, and we're going to get the bad ones out quickly. We got a lot of real bad ones. You know, these countries are very smart. I got to know all of the heads of the countries. They're very smart, very streetwise, and they don't let their good people come. They send the people in the caravans that they don't want, even if they're not officially criminals, if they're not officially, bad people, as we say, or people with serious medical problems. They want their people to stay in their countries. They don't want them to leave. And they organize many of the caravans. The people, the heads of the countries organize these caravans, and they come right into the United States now. We stopped them. We stopped them cold. but they come right into the United States now. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act, something people didn't even know we had, to remove all known or suspected gang members, drug dealers, or cartel members from the United States, ending the scourge of illegal alien gang violence once and for all. We were very tough on MS-13, the gang members. They don't like me at all. They don't like me too much. We will destroy the cartels, including by deploying U.S. Navy to impose a full naval embargo to close the waters of our region, because the land will be closed up, and to all smugglers and traffickers. And you know, they traffic mostly in women, just in case you didn't know that. It's mostly women, not children, not men. It's mostly in women. It's a horrible thing. It sounds like almost a prehistoric thing, but it's not. It's very modern. And what's made it so bad is the internet. It's like a big, huge business, but they traffic mostly in women. During my administration, we also took extraordinary steps to improve vetting for legal entry to keep criminals, thugs, and terrorists the hell out of our country. We strengthened the citizenship test by a lot. We stripped citizenship from those who threatened our security as a nation. We did social media vetting and created the first ever national vetting center. It's very successful. We found laws that had never been used before, and we use them now, because not easy to go through Congress, but there are so many laws. We used many of them, and very successful, including the right to tariff by the president, because again, China paid us and other countries paid us hundreds of billions of dollars, and it saved our businesses too, made them competitive. Today, I'm announcing a new plan to protect the integrity of our immigration system. Federal law prohibits the entry of communists and totalitarians into the United States. But my question is, what do we do with the ones that are already here that grew up in it? I think we have to pass a new law for them. Using federal law in section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, I will order my government to deny entry to all communists and all Marxists. Those who come to and join our country must love our country. We want them to love our country. We don't want them when they want to destroy our country. Welcome to America. We want to destroy your country. Thank you very much. So we're going to keep foreign Christian-hating communists, Marxists, and socialists out of America. We're keeping them out of America. When I was president, the world was stable and calm because America was respected and strong. Now, as we see in Russia and all of these other places, this whole world is on fire. This world is on fire. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I say that, and I would do that. That's easy compared to some of the things. I get that done in 24 hours. I know them both. I know them both. As the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. See that? I will be your peacemaker. I was your peacemaker. Well, that's great. Blessed are the peacemakers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But it's so true, the peacemakers. I will stop Joe Biden's inflation nightmare, save the U.S. economy, and I will always Medicare and Social Security, which for some very bad politicians, it's under siege. I don't know if you know that. It's under siege by people that tried to do it before. I won't mention names. As your president, I will continue to stand proudly for pro-life policies, just as I did for 4 strong years. And we cannot in this room, and Republicans, but the people in this room, we cannot be afraid to take on the Democrat extremists. We can't be afraid. We have to be strong and powerful. That's why when I'm reelected, I will continue to fight against the demented late-term abortionists in the Democrat Party who believe in unlimited abortion on demand and even executing babies after birth. These are very troubled people, and the American public is on our side by overwhelming margins. You know, the politicians are going to have to learn to talk about this issue because they are the radicals. We're not the radicals. When you kill a baby after 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, remember the governor of Virginia? He said, yes, the baby is born. You lay the baby aside, and then you make a determination as to what you do with the babies. In other words, he would kill the baby after, and you have many, they believe in that. That's what they want. They are the radical extremists. We're not the radical extremists. And politicians have to say that. They have to say that because they come out as radical. And the Democrats that believe in this late-term abortion, thanks to the Supreme Court decision of exactly 1 year ago, we gave those who have long been fighting for a pro-life cause negotiating power for the first time ever. You have tremendous negotiating power. Now, with Roe v. Wade, you had none, but no power. We've now given pro-life people tremendous power to negotiate something that will be happy, that will be good for everybody. And you have power for the first time. You didn't have that power. You had no power. They could do anything. They could kill the baby after the baby was born. They could kill the baby in the 9th month. These are horrible, horrible things to think about. And even other countries, other than 2 countries, I won't mention their names, China and North Korea. They have very strong limits. But I believe the greatest progress for pro-life is now being made in the states where everyone wanted to be. That's one of the reasons they wanted Roe v. Wade terminated, is to bring it back into the states where a lot of people feel strongly it should be, and where legal scholars feel very strongly it should be, with the 3 exceptions that I support and Ronald Reagan before me supported for rape, incest, and for the life of the mother. A lot of people are more and more coming into that fold, and it's something you have to very consider. You have to go with your heart. You have to go with your mind. You have to make that decision. But the 3 exceptions, and Ronald Reagan was there a long time ago, and I got through 2 very successful campaigns. Actually, my second campaign was much more successful. I got 12 million more votes. So I wonder what happened. However, there, of course, remains a vital role for the federal government in protecting unborn life. And it's very important. And I propose for you tonight, just as I did when I said that we will win the Supreme Court decision on abortion. Remember, I said that during my campaign. Everyone said, that's not going to happen. Nobody thought that was going to happen. But I will fight for you like no president has ever fought before. We'll get something done for the country. We're going to be for the country. We will defeat the radical Democrat policy of extreme late-term abortion, and we will bring everybody together to protect our precious unborn babies in a very, very big way. And now you have the power to do it because we terminated Roe v. Wade. Every child born and unborn is a sacred gift from God. Thank you. But you're in a much different position than you were before. Before you had nothing to negotiate with. Today you're in the driver's seat, very much in the driver's seat. Under my leadership, the United States will also rejoin the Geneva Consensus Declaration created by my administration and signed by 36 nations to reject the globalist claim of an international right to abortion. This declaration affirms the family as the foundation of a good and great society and states that every human being has the inherent right to life. And Joe Biden withdrew the United States from this historic declaration his very first week in office, as he did so much else. They ended Anwar, the biggest drilling site in the world, probably larger than probably larger than Saudi Arabia, if you can believe it. This was in Alaska. Ronald Reagan couldn't get it done. Nobody could get it done. I got it done. And in the first week in office, he terminated Anwar. Would have been unbelievable, would have been great, but we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. So many different things they terminated, but some things they couldn't terminate, like the tax cuts. They have never been able to do that. A lot of the regulation cuts that created all those jobs, they're having a hard time with that. But I'll return us to where we were right on day one. We're going to be returning our country very quickly. It's going to happen very fast. We know the right people. You know, I went through a lot of people. Some were fantastic. They were great. And some weren't good. But I came here, and I was only in Washington 17 times during my entire life. I read this in an article, so I assume it's true. Of course, it was written by a group that I'm not a big believer, but they said 17 times. I never stayed over. And I wasn't a part of Washington society, so I had to rely on people for recommendations. And many of them were good. Look, we rebuilt our military. We did so many incredible things. The tax cuts, the regulation. We had great people, but we had some people that I wouldn't have chosen if given a second shot. We had weak people. We had stupid people. We had people that had no leadership ability. We had some very bad people. We had some very great people that I'd use again in a heartbeat. Look at all the things we did. We did that because of great people. But now I know everybody. I know people. I don't have to rely on some rhino saying, why don't you give us this one to head intelligence? How about this guy to head intelligence, sir? You know, you got to rely on some rhinos that you don't want to rely on anymore, but you really learn, and you have to learn fast. You got some problems. But as we continue to fight for the unborn, and conservatives also have a duty to support the loving choice of adoption, including faith-based adoption. That's why, as part of extending the Trump tax cuts, you know, we're going to have to, the time is coming up, we're going to have to extend that. I will ask Congress to expand the adoption tax credit. We'll do that because a lot of people have been adopting, and that's a great thing. Another top priority will be to expel the communists and these terrible people that have taken over our education system. When you look, I will immediately sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Right? And I always say this, can you believe this? Can you imagine saying this 10 or 15 years ago? I will fight for parents' rights. Of course you fight for. Today I have to say, I have to make it, I will fight for parents' rights. Of course you fight for parents' rights. Who would ever think you have to say that as a politician or as a person at a microphone, including the right to send your child to the public, private, charter, or religious school of your choice. At the same time, I refuse to abandon our public school system to these lunatics, because what's happening there is terrible. That's why I will fight for the direct election of school principals by the parents of the school. If any principal is not getting the job done, the parents should be able to vote to fire them immediately and to select someone who will. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate from kindergarten through college. And something else I find hard to believe that I have to even say, it's so ridiculous. It's so horrible and so ridiculous. I will keep men out of women's sports. So horrible. And I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states.
Prohibited. And on day one, I will reinstate the Trump ban on transgenders in the military. We had it then. Because our warriors should be focused on crushing American enemies, on being strong, on having the image of being strong. They have to be powerful. They have to be strong, especially when you see what's happening in the world today, not catering to radical gender ideology. So you know I had this in the military. And a lot of the generals that I dealt with, the real generals, the good ones, the generals that weren't involved in the worst, most embarrassing day of our lives as a country. And that was the removal of our military from Afghanistan before our American citizens were taken out, before our soldiers were protected, leaving $85 billion worth of brand new Trump equipment. I bought it all brand new, beautiful. New tanks, new planes, 70, think of this, 70,000 vehicles, some of them, many of them armor plated, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars and even $1 million each. 700,000 rifles, guns, and that type of equipment. And now Afghanistan is the second or third largest seller of military equipment in the world because they don't need 700,000 rifles, do they? The best equipment, the finest equipment, the night goggles that they have are better than ours, brand new, not even taken out of the box. Now they fight at night because they never did. They couldn't see. Now they see very nicely. But as you know, in the military, you're not allowed to take virtually any drugs. You're not allowed to take drugs. Take an aspirin, you have a problem. And to have this operation, you have massive amounts of required on a daily basis, massive amounts of drugs. Furthermore, I will ban all taxpayer funding for sex or gender transitions at any age. And just as I've done for 4 years, I will fully uphold our Second Amendment. We need our second. I will bring back free speech in America. And finally, to restore pride in our history and confidence in our future, I will lead a massive year-long salute to America to celebrate the 250th anniversary on July 4th. This was July 4th, 1776, okay? There are other dates you hear about, but this is the date that we recognize, 1776, and we're going to have a big celebration, and it's going to be a celebration like we really deserve in this country for everything we've gone through. With you at my side, we will give our nation's founding the amazing anniversary party that America needs and so richly deserves. Days from now, all of us will be celebrating this year's Independence Day at a very challenging time for our country. As we do, let us remember the words of one Massachusetts preacher during the Revolutionary War on an autumn night in 1777, when the fate of our nation looked very, very bleak, much as it does in many ways right now. Be of good courage, he urged the patriots in the pews, because the cause of American independence is a glorious, glorious cause. Today, we are a nation in decline, and it is because of our corrupt and inept leadership and the power of modern day weaponry. It's so powerful, so horrible. It's so horrible. The levels of power, you've never seen anything like it. Shouldn't even be discussed. It wasn't talked about very much during my term. I didn't want to have anyone talking about it, but the level of power of modern day weaponry is horrible. It's the most dangerous period in the history of our country. It's time for us, because of all of this, so scary. We have leaders that don't have a clue. We have leaders that have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea. We have leaders that are totally corrupt. These are corrupt people. It's time for us to keep our faith, our unity, and our resolve. We must be strong like never before. We must be unstoppable.
Together we will take on the communists and the Marxists and the fascists and the globalists and the fake news media, which is just as bad as all of them. And we have to take on crooked Joe Biden and the worst administration in the history of this country. And propelled by the spirit of July 4th, 1776, we will win a resounding victory on November 5th, 2024, and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you all very much. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy.
Lean on me in times of bad. When the day comes and you are down, and I'm in a trouble, and I'm not around, just hold on.
I wanted to see him go over and shake Lindsay's hand. He kind of looked over Lindsay. Okay, what did everybody think? Yeah, thank you, honey. You know, the sad thing is I like that song. So of course I can't play it. Oh, am I breaking up again? Is that better? I think every time I have another tab open, that's when I break up. I'm going to, thank you. Well, I'm going to open up and I'm going to drop the link if anybody wants to come up and talk about the speech. So I might break up a minute. Here we go. Okay. There's my, I just dropped the link. Am I still 5 by 5, I hope? There was a few things that I wrote down. I know he was speaking to a faith and freedom conference, something like that, I think it was called. But I loved when he said, our allegiance is to our country and our creator. Also, I noticed he said that the F to the B to the I were arresting, and it was supposed to be devout, D-E-V-O-U-T. He pronounced it devote Catholics. And he usually doesn't misspeak. So I'm wondering what he meant by that, devote Catholics. He said we need to protect our cherished belief in God. Well, here she comes, our friend from Virginia. She's wide awake and ready to give us her take on his speech. It's our beautiful friend, Chia. Are you muted, Cha-Cha? Yep. Do you want to come back in and go out and come back in again? You want to try that? Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep going. He said that when he becomes president, he's going to, I think, reinstate Section 212F, which has to do with communists and totalitarians, that they will be prohibited. He said it's almost, he can't believe he has to say this, but he has to fight for parents' rights. He said that's crazy. He said that he will not give money to schools who have the jab or the face diaper mandates. And he says he's going to keep men out of women's sports, which he's been saying right along. He also said that he's going to prohibit child sexual mutilation. Put the ban back in for transgenders in the military. So I was taking a lot of notes. He said Americans of faith are the soul of this nation. And he's 100% true. People with faith are the souls of this nation. 100%. So if anybody has any other thoughts, Robert Clymer says the VAT place messes with the devote, LOL. Yes, they do. I picked up on that because he doesn't usually misspeak. And I don't think he was misspeaking, but I wasn't quite sure because he said the F to the B to the I are arresting devout Catholics. And I think that they had on the closed caption had printed devout, but he pronounced it devote. So interesting. Yeah, I thought it would be fun if we got all together. Unfortunately, I did not speak at all during it or comment. I think I did only once because I was experiencing sound troubles when I did. So I didn't want to ruin the sound of Trump speaking. Equine Freedom Homestead, hello. Isla E, hello. Lucy Work, Carol Johnson, hi. Granny 6 times, hello. Outlandish Patriot, hi there. Okay, we have a wonderful visitor from the great state of Texas. Here she is. It's our friend, Marla B. Hi, Marla.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Great. I found out I have a setting in the background.
Oh.
And I didn't set it. And I figured it out earlier when I didn't realize you were coming on.
I didn't either.
This is gonna sound weird. Everybody's gonna laugh at me. Sometimes I get a chance to audition for like a voiceover. So when you do voiceovers, I have to go into the closet. where it's quiet.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So I'm standing there in my closet, and I was also using new software, and I'm sometimes challenged in that area, but I did really well. I'm so proud of myself. But anyway, enough of that.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know I was coming on, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad you did. I got in probably halfway.
Yeah,
maybe closer to the end, but he talks like he's already really that he's going to win it. He's going to be in the office no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I like that. He's very confident. Georgia Van Houten says, Diamond Lil, did you see Governor DeSantis in your chat? LOL. No, I didn't. I think somebody might have came in with that name. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, everybody, I will just say everybody's showing their true colors in this crazy, I don't know, crazy battle.
Yeah.
But I honestly think whatever he says he's going to do, he's going to do it. But I think he is. I don't know. He just talks like he's really kind of in the office, but he's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really don't know.
Awakened Trillium says it was one of DJT's bestest speeches yet.
It was, and I cry every time I hear that song. Hold on, because I'm holding.
Hold on, I'm crying, and it's like, okay, we're waiting.
It came on the radio today while I was driving, and I started crying when I was driving, and I thought, God, I hope I don't have a wreck. This is not going to look good. So, anyway, I just wanted to come up and say hello, and
howdy.
He is just, I don't know. He's just talking like he's already there. Like it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Marla.
Yes.
Hold on to your seat.
Oh no.
Here she comes. It's our friend Chia.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
All right.
Hi, Cha-Cha. I've never really met her face to face. It's nice.
It's a scary one.
Oh,
it's awful dark in
You're
here.
not scary.
It's not scary.
No.
It's not scary.
And how are you doing?
Good.
Well, that's good.
Doing
I
great.
didn't get to hear the whole message, but what I did hear,
it
just cracks me up.
Oh, he was.
Because there's so many comms and everything he says.
He came up with some really good, funny lines too. You know.
Help me with comms. Everybody talks about him, and I just don't catch them. I'm not very good, I guess, with code. I am good with some codes, but that I don't know.
A lot of them is he'll say things, but he's really saying the opposite of what he's saying.
See, that I can't
understand that. There goes this light again. I'm on my other computer, so it's gonna go back and forth. I'm not on my regular computer. I'm back in. I'm hiding. I'm in hiding from the dogs.
I've been there.
I'm hiding from the dogs, the husband, you know.
Good for you.
I'm done.
Good for you.
Although I have one laying right here by my feet.
Honey McCann says Diamond just had to quick look up devote because he said the F to the B to the I is arresting devout Catholics. You know, they're out there doing that. And I thought he must have meant devout.
Devout,
But he does not misspeak.
No, he doesn't. So there's a way when he says that.
Yeah, devote. So she said she looked up devote. It means to set yourself apart by a vow, consigned to harm, evil separate by a promise, is linked to negative connotations. And she said, good catch. Thank you, honey.
So those are the things, like he'll say that,
Yeah.
But he could be also meaning devote, meaning don't vote.
Yes.
Because we haven't taken care of the 2020 yet.
That's where
there's
I was.
No votes. I mean,
leaning
come on,
towards.
24 is not going to happen if they can't.
Did anybody else have a hard time seeing Lindsey Graham standing there clapping?
I had a very hard time because it wasn't
I can't even
Lindsey
stand Graham crackers. Lindsey Graham crackers. That's what I call him. He's just, I can't stand him.
So
I want to
phony.
slap him.
Yeah, but he isn't for real.
Yeah.
He isn't for real. That's not the real.
He's phony baloney. And he's standing there and he's just, and he's smiling. And especially, when he says, he's going to get rid of the deep state. Lindsey Graham is one of the, he's one of the biggest members, and he's standing there and,
he was sitting, he was sitting there at the table with that Ukraine idiot. I'm sorry.
I said, oh gosh.
Oh,
he was sitting, Lindsey was sitting next to Mike Huckabee on one side of him, and the guy that was running that whole organization, I think, was the one that was sitting next to him. Is that what you're saying?
No. Lindsey Graham was sitting at the table with the Ukrainian president. I didn't know Huckabee was there. I didn't see Huckabee, but
I didn't see Huckabee.
I didn't either.
I didn't see the Ukrainian
but I wasn't
president.
There. I mean,
it was the president. He was talking to him, and he said, and this was just about probably 2-3 weeks ago,
or whatever his name is.
He said, "Oh, killing all those Russians, that was the best money ever spent." And I thought, I can't even say what I said because I said it out loud.
I love it when he talks about Norcom, the governor that said of Virginia, ex-governor, when he says about him saying that you can kill a baby after it's born.
I can't imagine. Why
but you know what Google says? That he's back as a pediatric neurologist at King's Daughters in Norfolk, Virginia, which is right down the street from me, and he's not there.
Then that's also Catholic, isn't it? King's
Daughter may be part of Catholic. Okay, but he is not there. He is not a pediatrician.
Pediatrician.
And a neurosurgeon. Okay, he is not working on kids.
I hope not.
Oh heck no! No way.
By the way,
I have a niece that works as a nurse there, and in no way.
I hope not. Well, back to Lindsey, what I was saying is, after he said that, then Russia, they wanted to come over and arrest him for saying that because it was I don't know, it was a threat against him or something. I thought it was hilarious. I thought, have him. You can take him, please. But
we don't want him. You can have him.
There's a lot of them I'm finding that are, I thought were good, and they're not. I used to follow Mike Pompeo, and he showed a picture of himself giving a check to the Ukrainian president for more money for war. And I was so sad because he was a good Secretary of State when he worked with Trump, or I thought he was. That's my opinion. I thought he was. That's my opinion. But and then
there is a lot of disappointments that we've had.
Yeah, very big disappointments.
Mike Pompeo is the biggest one that really, Now the one I'm not sure about is John Kennedy from Louisiana. I'm hoping that he's a good guy, but they're all because he comes back with some stuff, I mean, funny stuff, but he knew what was going on too. So you can't turn a blind eye to a blind eye. You see something, you got to say something.
Right.
You can't go along with it.
What does that mean? Graham was put on notice. I don't understand what that means.
Put on notice means that he was warned of what he has been caught with. So he either had to change his way or he's gone.
Wow. How do you find that out?
A lot of digging.
A lot of digging.
Yeah, but he was arrested probably 2 years ago at the airport when he was leaving, and he was ugly to one of the people. Oh my God! And actually almost pushed him, I think, at the airport, and that's when he got arrested.
I didn't even know he was arrested.
But you can tell if these people come out with a boot on, they got a foot problem all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh. Well, what does that mean? Because I have seen a lot of them. Pompeo had one on it too.
Yes, that means they're under arrest.
It does?
They got an ankle bracelet on.
But they just put a boot over it so nobody can see the ankle bracelet?
Cover it up, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just stick with Cha-Cha.
How dumb am I?
That's why when Nikki showed that video of Chelsea Clinton last night, she said, "Watch
she's evil.
what she's wearing," and they panned out, and she had a boot on.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people wouldn't notice that. Okay, you have to. I mean, just like Trump tonight. Anybody that knows Trump knows the first thing I'm going to see is his hairdo. That definitely was not his hairdo because every hair on Trump is in place. It ain't going to be out of place. Trump doesn't have high cheekbones and his eyes aren't sunk in. Oh. So, I didn't see him walk out, so I couldn't tell you, but I can tell. Not that he has a nice looking rear end, because that was the biggest joke. They always said I was checking his butt out. He has a broad back end. I don't know who this one was, if he had a narrow one. A lot of times I think John plays him, but I don't think that was John tonight. And that means John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, I was Junior. So so I'm still stuck on that one. I don't know. I can see how he did go. He could have gone in hiding. Then again, I could see, well, maybe he is dead. So I have to see the person. You know what I'm saying? To believe.
Well, you will eventually. You will, but he has been in your face so many times.
Really?
And you didn't even know it because he is a master of disguise.
Well, now that I can believe. I mean,
he's always liked to be an actor. He played that professor from Arizona. Remember Diamond?
I don't remember.
Muted.
Yeah, David.
He played him. I can't remember his name right now. The professor.
David Clements.
David Clements. That's it.
What was he?
I think he's even played Mike Lindell a couple times. And he played the day that Pence was on stage in the debate. He was the one that had the flag on his face. It was John F. Kennedy then.
I don't like Pence. He's evil.
Okay. Oh, I can't stand him, but he's not here, so you don't have to.
Like him. I don't like him at all. Oh.
No, him and Paul Ryan, I think it was.
The former, one of the
former Speaker of the House.
Paul Ryan. Yeah,
Paul Ryan. Okay. They both had a hit that they had put out on Trump. And so
they had a hit?
Yeah. They had, because Pence wanted to be president and so did Ryan.
Well, I can see that now. I can definitely see that happening. That just Kelly Ripa and her husband both wearing a boot. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? I just need to quit looking at people because I see everything.
Now listen, if I fall and hurt my ankle and I have to wear a boot,
you better put a cast on it and not a boot, okay?
Please don't think I'm arrested for anything.
You're not coming up on my panel again if you're wearing a boot.
Hey, when I go to the foot doctor next week, not this week, but next on the 3rd, and I have to have something done to my foot, then I'll just tell them I want a cast. Don't give me no boot. No boot because, oh, wait a minute. I think it's always the right foot they put it on, if I'm not mistaken. Now I have to go back and look. I think it's the right foot they put the ankle bracelet on.
Phil, let me see where it is. Phil R, I think. He said left foot always.
Left foot? Oh, God, mine is my left foot, too.
Yeah, and that's what Chelsea had. Chelsea had it on the left foot last night. On the video we saw. Chelsea had it on her left. Yeah.
And I can't have a cast on my foot. That'll suck.
Oh, no.
Royally, I won't be able to get in the pool. Although I probably would figure out a way to get in the pool.
Is the pool open, Cha-Cha?
Huh?
Is the pool open?
Yeah, the pool's open if it just quit raining.
Okay.
Come to Texas. We're having a heat wave here, so.
Well, it's nice and hot, but it's raining all the time. Yeah.
We get rain here and there. We're lucky that we are getting in some rain, but
it has rained for almost a week now. You know.
Oh my goodness.
It didn't rain all day today, but then it rained this evening.
If you have to have I'm sorry.
Yeah. Big thunderstorm came.
Oh. I was going to say, if you have to have a cast, talk to the doctor and see if you can't get a waterproof one. Because I know for your arms, you can get waterproof.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll figure out something. I'll get into my pool.
A friend of mine, her daughter was a swimmer and she broke her arm or something. It was her arm. She broke her arm. And they had to put on, there it is. They make fiberglass swimming cast.
Oh, did it?
That's what you want.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's lightweight too. That's better than the other ones. Okay, cool. Can you make it short too? Don't put it up high.
Now I'm going to start seeing the on the left leg. Now I'm going to start seeing that.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the foots. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I saw an interesting movie on Amazon Prime today. It was called
Save your bread bags. Save my bread bags and put on my foot.
It was
I
called
am stuck on bread bags.
Anyway, the movie was called She Said, and it was about these two women. They're reporters, and they broke is it Harvey Weinstein story.
Uh-huh.
But they talked about the whole, how Hollywood was this machine that allowed all of this to happen. And they needed to go, get him, but they needed to go to the top. It was interesting.
Look, I don't understand why my picture has to stay so dark.
Did you hear Mr. T say that he sued or is in the process of suing the media people that won the Nobel Peace Prize or whatever it was for their Russia hoax thing, news stories? And he says they're going to have to give that money back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's suing them, because it's a hoax. They won an award for a hoax.
Yep.
They don't deserve it.
I hope he wins. I hope he wins. I hope it just smears in their face for doing that.
I loved it.
In the early 90s, I went to the Austin Community College to the journalism because I like to write. And I loved the class until I was writing this story, and the professor said, "This is great, but you got to capture their attention." And she just kept on and on. And I was like, "So you want me to put hair on my story? So basically, you want me to kind of lie?"
Yeah, that's what they want you to do.
Well, it's not really lying. It's just to get their attention so they'll read it because it's really good. I said, "It's the truth."
Was it a Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer Prize that they won? I think it's a Pulitzer.
Well, he said Pulitzer.
Yeah, I think it's Pulitzer. Okay, thank you. I misspoke. Thank you,
now
Georgia.
what's wrong with my camera? It keeps
It is Pulitzer prize they got. Yeah.
I do have electricity here. Even though my picture keeps going in and out.
You keep going into the light and then coming out.
Into the light.
Go to the light. Go to the light.
I'm going to the light. Look.
There you
Look,
are.
you're-
It's light there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Your turquoise, is that turquoise color?
No, this is green. The
Okay,
wall
I
is
mean-
kind of a turquoise color.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
This is,
Beautiful.
where am I?
I don't know.
I'm in my office.
Ah, okay.
And then I went in the dark. Come back, light.
Oh, the
How's
lights
your-
are going off.
How's your dog
No, the
doing,
light's not
Chacha?
going off. It's the camera.
Oh.
Now, what
How's
did you
your
ask
dog-
me?
How's your dog doing?
He's laying here sleeping by my feet.
Brewster, how's
He's
Brewster?
he's recovered.
Oh, good. Okay, good. All right.
Yes.
Good.
Now we need to get him dentures.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You see me going and asking for doggy dentures?
Yeah, doggy dentures.
He
Yeah,
had
thank
25 teeth pulled out. Or
Thanks,
taken out.
Georgia, for clarifying that. It is the Pulitzer. Thank you. And I hope they have to return that money. That would be great.
Yeah,
I
they
could
got a
use
lot of
some of
money
it.
to return.
Couldn't you use some of it? You
Oh,
guys?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm going to jump down and get in the
Okay.
conversation. But I just wanted to come up and say hello. And I got to
Thank
see
you,
a little bit of
Marla.
it.
So what is Marla? Is your last name Benenfield or something like that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
me.
All right. So you're the one that I say hi to all the time.
Yeah,
Now I
it's
have
nice
a
to
face to go with it. Okay.
There you go.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
I'm
Y'all,
the
Thank you, Marla.
thank you. I'm going to jump down.
All right.
Have a great
Be
rest
careful
of your
not to
night.
hurt your left foot, okay? If you
Oh.
do, make sure it's
I'm
right.
going to see it everywhere I go now. And I'll be like, oh my God.
Oh my.
Cha-cha,
And you're
who
going to
are
have
you?
anybody you see with a boot on the left foot is under a house arrest now.
Yeah.
And they could
So
be
just
innocent, but you're going to think they are. And
give
you're
them
going
a
to be like
second look.
spying on them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to start seeing that now. Oh, I can't unsee it. Thank you.
That's good. Then you can play like a detective. Hey, and if you get you a pair of binoculars, it's really cool.
I do. I have several pair that were from my dad. They
And find
really
some
are.
bush and find some bushes to hide behind. When you do.
Okay.
I'm giving you all my secrets.
Y'all have a good one. I'll jump down in the conversation.
All
All
right.
right. You
Thank
too,
you.
Marla. See you later. Have a great night.
You too.
She probably thinks I'm crazy now.
No.
I'm the
You're
bush
just
being cha-cha.
Well, Cosette tried calling me. They did give Obama a Nobel Peace Prize. Yes.
Yeah, they did.
We
And
don't
that will
even
be
know what
taken
it
away.
was for. We don't know what it was for.
Here comes the light.
Yes, Cosette, he needs to sue Nobel, right? Yeah. I did not know that he had sued the Pulitzer Commission. I didn't know that till tonight.
I didn't either. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. She says I'm awesome.
Oh, look at that.
What?
People love you. Yeah,
Oh, I love
Marla.
people.
Marla says, Cha-Cha, you are awesome.
I'm the spy, secret agent, wasn't it? Is that
You're
what
the
they?
secret agent. Yes.
And the
secret
queen.
agent. And the queen. Queen Cha-Cha.
Queen Cha-Cha.
Well, it's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you. I mean, you actually got me when I was come back here just to relax, maybe for a
Oh,
little
there
bit.
you go.
I have been the last 3 days. I've been just go.
Yeah, you've been right straight out.
Yeah, this morning I was out giving food out at the church, for the
for you.
pantry,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm just done. I've just got to go home. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving out and done everything I can for the last 3 days. No.
Yep.
Tomorrow's my day, go to church, and then I'm coming home and get in the pool if it isn't raining.
Yep, good. There you go.
Okay,
Mary,
God, you got that? I want a Sunday afternoon.
Yep. Listen to her, God.
Really, God, I need to be refreshed in my pool.
Mary Freeland says, Cha-Cha tells it like it is.
That
Yes,
is right.
Cha-Cha will always tell you what she's thinking.
Yeah.
Phil R. says, God bless you, Cha-Cha. And
Well,
Robert
thank you,
Clymer
Robert.
says, bless you, Cha-Cha.
Thank you. A shower is just not the same as laying in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay. A cold shower is not the same.
No. No, relaxing on the pool. Do you have a favorite float?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I have several of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just tell the pool boy, bring me a drink when I'm ready. Not a mixed drink. Don't get me wrong. Bring me some tea.
Oh yeah,
Cold
something
drink
with
of tea.
yeah, something cold with some ice cubes in it. Awaken Trillium says Mr. T on again tomorrow night. I didn't
Big storm in
realize.
your area. Who said that? Georgia. You gotta be kidding me. Big storms in your area tomorrow. Georgia.
Oh.
And that just always the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
Cosette, she says those awards used to mean something, but not anymore. They're not worth the paper they are printed on. That's 100%
neither are the
right.
Oscars or the Grammys or any of those.
And even those medals that the presidents give out, Moron gave them to, Robert De Niro and Tom Hanks and, that whole group of Oprah got one.
Obama did. He gave one to Diana Ross.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe it. And who else was that? Who's that lady? Jean? No. DeGeneres.
Oh, Ellen.
He gave her one. For what? I don't know, but I remember him doing it at the White House. I'm thinking, what did she get an award for? He.
Awaken Trillium says also Monday or Tuesday and again July 1st. What's he ramping up for the holiday? My granddaughter in the back. Yeah, my granddaughter.
And how is your granddaughter doing?
How is she doing? She's doing good. She started that thing that all women start.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's what I said yesterday.
At 10 years old?
Yeah, she's 11 now. She turned 11 in April.
Oh, I missed that.
2 months ago. Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what I said. Please.
Does she get all the shots that she has to have, like, from the doctors?
She has not had any since she was an infant.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she doesn't go to school either, so she doesn't have to have those.
No, and we, we are questioning,
some of those that she got.
Yeah, everything that well, yes. I think some people have talked, some doctors have said that those doodles cause what she has.
Yes.
Yeah, Wolfpack, that's what I said too. My daughter and I both were in mourning yesterday when she came to us and said that she had some blood on her toilet paper.
Uh-huh.
And we just both looked, oh my goodness. No!
I probably would have done, I don't know what, I probably said, oh God, not now, when my daughter started. Like,
yes. Oh, Carol Z says her niece was 11 also. Outlandish was 10.
Well, tell me there isn't any hurricanes out there. Robert says, Cha-Cha, remember the hurricanes in Norfolk in the 70s? Yep, I remember them. I was based in Norfolk, our ship had to go out to sea and ride it out. There isn't any hurricanes out there. I don't even watch the news or the weather or anything.
Yeah.
Is there a hurricane out there?
There is, I think. There was a couple they talked about, but I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on it.
I haven't either.
Marla says a train derails in Montana's Yellowstone River.
Uh-oh.
That's not good. See, they're going after the water, right?
Yep. Trump
Mary
said,
Freeland,
watch the water.
Mary Freeland says she was 11 too. Oh boy. My granddaughter looked at me and she said, Nana, do you have one? And I said, I did for like,
Forever.
40, 45, 50 years. I just stopped mine, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was late. I was in my late 50s.
Her daughter was on can't even talk. Can't read either. Her daughter was only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, it went by so fast I couldn't see it now. I was 10 also.
Diane Valenzuela says she was 10 and didn't stop till she was 62. Wow, Diane. I thought I was late. But the thing is, you get done with that, and you think, great, I don't have to deal with that anymore. And then it's the incontinence.
Then then you have to have your own personal summers in the dead winter.
Yeah.
Or during the middle of the night when you wake up and your hair's soaking wet and your pillow's soaking wet.
Yeah. Now, Mr. T mentioned, he said that he was going to create a Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Kara asked me, what do I think of the sub issue? You want my personal opinion? My personal opinion?
Yeah.
I think that it's a psyop.
Okay.
Because when the supposable Titanic went down, it was to stop the people that didn't want the Federal Reserve to go and become the Federal Reserve went down on that ship. But it wasn't the Titanic that went down. It was another ship. So these people that went down in this sub, now I don't think they went down in the sub, but I think they went bye-bye another way. But it's related to tell you that the Federal Reserve is not here anymore. And that we will be going back to common law. Your government, which has been a corporation, is going to be gone. And you'll be slaves no more.
Yep.
That's just my opinion. I don't have any receipts for that one. But I can get some if I need to.
It just so happens that these things happen when something else is going on. To take your eyes off other things.
Yeah.
The timing.
First of all, who would pay that much money to go down in a sub and be bolted in from the outside and you can't get out?
Yeah.
Who in their right mind would do it? Come on.
Yeah.
Who would pay that kind of money? Who would have that kind of money?
Yeah.
To take a ride on a... Hey, look, you couldn't give it to me free and me want to go in a sub underneath the water. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yellowstone is another hum. A hum. It makes you want to think.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's
so
another.
When you see those things, you have to just stop and pause and say, what are they trying to show us now? Or what are they trying to keep us from knowing?
Yes. What are they trying to divert us from? Yep. Yep.
Wow, Marilyn, you were 16? Wow. And stopped at 50. No problem. I can't remember what I was, either 12 or 13, and
Yeah.
I stopped or got stopped at 32.
Okay. Yeah, there was some people in here that said that they oh, here's Sharon Whitmore started at 9 and stopped at 35.
Yeah. Well, that was because of surgery.
Yep.
So, which is okay. Yeah, it was the bankers, Kara. It was the bankers on the Titanic. They didn't want the reserve to come here because it was from London or UK.
So what did you think of his speech? What you saw of it?
After trying to figure out just who it really was, because every time I have to do that, but the hair was a dead giveaway to me automatically when I saw it, because his hair has never been frizzy. And his hair was frizzy. All right.
Yeah.
The real Donald Trump has never had a hair out of place. Even as a young guy, his hair was always come to the side and was perfect. It was like the wind could blow it and it wouldn't move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know he was a germaphobe either.
Yep, he is.
Yeah. They say that he's very particular.
Yeah.
With all of this stuff,
So the things that I heard, and when he said that about the governor of Virginia, and I know exactly, a lot of people listening may not know who they're talking about, but anytime he ever says a governor that says that it was okay to have an abortion after the baby, to kill a baby after it's been born.
Yes.
Is ludicrous, and he's not there anymore. Okay? He's saying that is outright murder. Hey, if you get in an accident and you kill a woman and she's pregnant, that you're going to be charged twice on that, because you're going to be charged manslaughter for her and manslaughter on the other one. Or whatever, if you shoot him, you're going to be charged for 2 deaths. So why are you telling me that aborting a child is not murder?
Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's mine,
Chacha, just a moment. I don't, Paula, I'm not quite sure what you're getting at. I'm sorry ever said anything, Diamond. I will not comment on your programs no more, but I will give you thumbs up. I haven't even said anything to you, Paula. What are you talking about?
I don't see where there's anything from Paula in here till the very end.
Well, I'm looking up to see if maybe there was something between people in chat, but because I never said I don't think I said anything.
All I see here is I always wanted my husband to go through a few cycles. And I would think I would love to see them do that too.
Well, here's one. She says, Chacha, I hope you get a good night's sleep and God blesses you while you're asleep in Jesus' name.
Oh, wait a minute. I must be reading the wrong thing then. Did you say Paula or somebody else?
Paula Work? Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know what.
I don't know where you're talking that she would say she wasn't going to.
She says Indiana's not getting no rain whatsoever and we need it bad.
Hey, can I send you some? I'm getting some right now.
Oh, Chacha will send you rain, Paula. Is it because is it because I didn't read your comments, Paula?
Hey, tell her just go outside and do a rain dance. Act like an Indian and just and call out to Jesus.
I'm not, trying to be, you know, stupid, but I don't get what your beef is. I'm not sure, Paula.
Yeah, I don't understand what, unless somebody said something to her.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I didn't read her comments, but I'm not reading everybody's comments. I was
Well,
just
I don't know what comment she made.
picking a few. Well, she spoke to you. She hopes you have good sleep and God
Well,
blesses
thank you. I didn't see that, but when I'm talking, I'm not usually reading the comments.
Well, and that's the thing. People that don't have a show, we've got 173 people in here right now, and I can't read all the comments. I read what I see, but I don't see all of them because I'm also having a conversation with the people on panel, and a lot of times.
Oh, I do see Paula where Paula works, and she says, "I hope you get a good night's sleep. God bless you."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I did not see that, but thank you, Paula.
Yeah, I don't. But then she says here, "I'm sorry ever said anything, Diamond. I will not comment on your programs no more, but we'll give you thumbs up."
Well, Paula, I surely did not
Well,
intend on.
I can't apologize for something I don't know that I did wrong.
Yeah.
Paula.
I mean, if I didn't see your comment,
so
I didn't see it.
Don't leave. Tell me what you think I did wrong. I don't understand it.
Diane B says, "I was scared. I thought there was something wrong with me." Now, see, I didn't see any of this.
I didn't see anything. I don't understand where that attitude comes from. I don't get it. So.
Well,
all right.
We just need to apologize.
Yeah, we'll just move on.
That she feels that way, and just let it. You know.
I just want you to know.
We love you, Paula.
Yeah, we do love you, Paula, and have a good evening. But I don't know what the issue is. So.
Well.
Anyway.
It's, all we can say is we love you.
Yes.
And thank you for telling me to get a good night's sleep. Yes,
thank you for being part of the chat tonight.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Chow chow, I am an Indian. Well, then go out and do a rain dance, Paula.
Oh, she's an Indian.
Yeah, go out there and do an Indian dance for rain. And then holler up to Jesus. Say, "Come on, Jesus, I need some rain."
Well, I'm glad you're still here, Paula. Good to see you.
Hey, listen, we were in the dry spell there, and we were really getting to the point we needed rain. But like it's been over a week now, every day. I'm over it. But then, what are they hiding underneath those clouds? But then last night or yesterday evening, we were sitting out back, and the helicopter, Coast Guard helicopter, kept going down the river, flying real low. And so I don't know what happened there. I mean, binoculars can't see the whole river at one time. But he was.
Have you had a lot of military?
Helicopters,
vehicles and stuff. Yeah.
I haven't been out on the street to really see them, but I've heard lots of helicopters.
Okay.
Military helicopters.
Yep.
The planes I haven't noticed too much, but then for a while there, a lot of the big planes coming in and out of the airport haven't been as many as usual. So I don't know what was up with that.
Yeah.
Spaceships, cha-cha, big ones. We had aliens here.
Oh, look at that.
That's all I need to walk out my back door and see an alien in the backyard. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll say, "Okay, God, I'm coming." It'll be like Elizabeth, "I'm coming."
Yeah, Carol Z says they're controlling the weather. They sure are. And Wolfpack says we've had quite a bit of activity flying over her house.
Who's that?
Wolfpack.
Where does Wolfpack live?
Wolfpack, are you in Wolfpack? Are you in California or I can't remember. Let's see. Larry Pitts says a lot of planes and helicopters he's seen. Okay. Yes, Wolfpack is in California. Thank you, Wolfpack.
Okay.
I thought so, but I wasn't 100%.
Are you near Santa Barbara?
Yeah, she said she's in California. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm having a big enough time keeping up with the East Coast right now.
Yeah. Marilyn Ponomarenko is from California too.
That's right.
Yeah,
So you're a
she's
neighbor of hers. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what parts of California y'all live in.
Yeah.
You've had the Blue Angels flying over, shaking the windows. Yeah. Some of them helicopters, the Coast Guard one was shaking things on my wall in the living room yesterday.
Oh.
No, she's in the valley. You out there where the grapes are?
With all the farmers, she said.
Yeah. Well, she's in the valley. I know that they have the wineries out there. I don't know.
Carol Z is in Northern California. Mike Mazza is in Pennsylvania.
Tonight, just tonight?
Or it says 2 days ago, seed trails here in Pennsylvania. Tonight, more being laid. Wow.
Yeah. Well.
Maryland says Victorville High Desert, Cha-Cha.
Victorville Desert. Oh, okay. Is that close to Mojave Desert? I don't know that much about California.
Yeah, I don't either.
I always was told it was going to fall into the ocean, so I just forgot about it. Okay.
Yeah, did you hear him say how dirty Washington, D.C. had become?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said he was, when he flew in today, he was really sad.
Was he in D.C.?
That's where I think that's where that speech was.
No, I do have a question for y'all. Okay. I know that D.C. is done. It's, but I want to go up to Pennsylvania where that interstate was taken out.
Yeah.
By a truck.
Yeah.
But now it's reopened. They have temporary roads across there.
Oh, do they?
This is what I saw yesterday, not on TV because I don't watch the news, but I read it. It may have been Gateway Pundit.
Oh, I haven't seen. I'll have to look.
They've got the interstate open back up.
That was quick.
And no, it's filled in all underneath, like they brought dirt in to build it up or something.
And
I'm thinking, what did they take out with that fire? What was underneath that interstate? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
I just, when I see things like that just don't add up, I have to go, You know what I'm saying?
Well, makes you scratch your head, and you know what it is, Cha-Cha, more than anything? It goes against logic.
Yeah, who would pay that kind of money to get in a sub to go underground and be bolted in from the outside?
Right.
I mean, come on. Use common sense.
Yeah, it goes against logic. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you're going to put dirt underneath roads and build them back so that rain comes along and washes them out? Okay. No pylons? Nothing holding it up? No, you can't just build a mountain and expect it to stay there.
Yeah. Carol
I mean,
Z
I
says
can go
yes.
and put a pile of dirt in my yard and
Yeah.
have it real high. The rain's going to come along and going to wash it out. It may not be overnight, but it's going to wash it out.
Yeah.
And you're going to have more people getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand what they think we're stupid, I guess.
Yeah. Carol Z says yes, it was opened. And then Mary Freeland says a few migrants crossing in Yuma said they were headed to D.C. Yeah. Debbie King says very quiet in central Indiana, north.
Really? Wow.
That's what she said.
And who was that?
Debbie King.
Debbie King.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that where Paula work is? Isn't she in Indiana too?
Is Paula in Indiana?
I think she said she was in Indiana.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember, didn't she tell me she was a Chow Chow?
Yeah, she said she was Indian. Yes.
But I think she said she was.
She said Chow Chow. She says I'm an Indian.
Yeah, but I think she's from Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. Oh. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Hey, it's 10:30 at night. My brain is.
No, fried. I'm getting to that point too because I've got to do my show in the morning. So
yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Hope you enjoyed watching Mr. T with each other. Wolfpack says, I thought she was saying chow chow like she was leaving Diamond Lil. Yeah, I don't know, but thank you, Wolfpack, for modding. Larry
I don't know.
Fitz says good show and thank you, Diamond.
Hey, where's Liz at?
Thank you. I'm sorry?
I was just asking where Liz is.
Oh, Grizz? I think she was on vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, she was
Whatever
taking
day.
a vacation.
One day I was listening to you and working at the house. I don't know what day that was. They all kind of run together.
Oh, you guys are all very welcome. The ones thanking me, you're very welcome. Thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for allowing me to come up, Diamond.
Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome.
We
Thank
love you, Diamond.
For coming up.
Oh, wait a minute. Because Kush isn't here now.
Yes. No,
I'm going to be able to. We love you, Diamond.
Kush.
Oh, yes, we do. We love you, Diamond, because you are true.
Thank you. Kush should be in bed because it would be 5 hours from now. So that would be 10 or 11.
He should be sleeping because that's where I'm going to be heading.
So you guys all have a wonderful rest of your night. And thank you for being part of this. I hope you found it to be informative. And watching it all together, I think, was a lot of fun. So thank you.
Well, I wished I would have caught it earlier, but,
Yeah.
Hey, like I said the other day, a woman's job is just never done.
It is never done. Never,
I was
ever
putting
done.
laundry away when I snuck in here.
Yeah. Well, what's better than putting laundry away?
I got the laundry put away, other than a pair of socks I dropped in the hallway.
Coming up on Diamond Lil's panel is better than putting laundry away.
That's right. Sitting down and just chit-chatting is fun sometimes. Okay?
All right, everybody. You have a
all right.
wonderful
Have a blessed evening. Thank you, Diamond. Love you.
Thank you.
Love you all in chat.
Have a blessed night.
And I'll be back sooner or later.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.